Hey, Chad Peterman here. Welcome to AI Trade Talk, a new series on Can't Stop the Growth. We're redefining the future of home services with AI, one conversation at a time. In each episode, we'll dig into real-world strategies, innovations, and opportunities that AI is creating for home service companies like yours. Let's jump in and explore how to work smarter, serve better, and grow faster.
Welcome to AI Trade Talk with ZyraTalk. My name is Brad Scruggs, founder and president at ZyraTalk, and this is a show where we interview industry leaders in the home service space to learn ways that they're growing and what they're doing to handle certain challenges. As an AI company, we're also focused on what's coming in the future, so we're going to focus that in the conversation as well. So whatever you're doing, whether it's driving, working, maybe you're doing dishes, or just having us on as background noise, sit back and enjoy the show.
All right, we are here with Katie Donovan from Camp Digital. Really excited to have her on the ZyraTalk podcast and talk about all things with the trades, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and really talk about what Camp Digital does for their clients, and also talk about the future of the trades as well, and AI. AI is a hot topic, so we're going to talk about that in this episode. So Katie, I think it'd be great for you to just give a quick intro on what you do, what Camp Digital does, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, first of all, let me say thank you very much, Brad. I was just saying before we started this that our two companies have really come up together in the business, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate ZyraTalk and everything you guys have been as phenomenal partners to us, and how much you guys really push the edge of everything in this space technology-wise. So really grateful to be talking with you today, and I really appreciate your time. I'm Katie with Camp Digital, CEO of Camp Digital. We are a technology company as well. That's how we like to say it, but a technology company that focuses on digital marketing. So everything we do is technology-based, and the way we do it is through digital marketing and exclusive to the trades.
Great intro, and we've known each other for, oh my gosh, over 5 years now. We've been partners for a long time.
Long enough to carry bail money.
Yeah.
I know to carry bail money if I'm going to see you somewhere for sure.
Okay, great. Yeah. So it's been a long time. We've known each other. We've seen each other at shows and conferences and these expos that we go to. We have a lot of shared customers. And I'll just start off by saying, when our clients who are not using Camp Digital ask for a marketing agency, we'll tell them, hey, there's about 5 agencies. I can count on one hand of agencies that are actually good, because we see the data. We know who's getting a lot of phone calls. We know who's getting a lot of chats on their website. We have UTM data on what's converting for clients as well. So there's a handful of agencies out there that I say are good. Camp is definitely one of those. And when it comes to PPC, oh my gosh, you guys blow it out of the water. And talk to the viewers about what you guys do with dynamically changing the website with offers and things like that. I obviously know it because we've been partners for so long, but talk about what differentiates Camp from other agencies.
Well, I think I have to go back a little bit, like when we first met. And one of the first things that when we came into the space that we said, I've done digital marketing for a long, long time. And never in the history of my life have I ever had anyone call me and say, Katie, I'm taking my wife out to dinner tonight. We had the best impression share day of our life. It doesn't matter to the trades. What matters is, are my call boards full or are my call boards not full? Am I booked or am I not booked? So we decided to build our technology around that. And so everything that we do, from the dynamic insertion on the sites to what ads are running, to where they're running, how much we're spending on those, all of that is predicated on the call board. So we integrate in with Service Titan, Sarah, House Call Pro, working on some integrations with Workies and a few others right now, pretty excited about coming out. But we pull that call board data and we say, are we booked or are we not booked? And then to answer your question, and if we aren't, what can I do to the offer or to the incentive to make it more likely to get a booking? For example, if you do anything in drains, you'll be nodding along to this. If I can add a 2-hour arrival guarantee, my conversion rate will almost triple digit up. That doesn't mean I'm going to 100% conversion speeds from where I am to where I go, but it's amazing, right? If you've got a leaky faucet, or if you've got a mainline sewer backup, if you've got any of those kind of things, and someone's ad says they can get there, or someone's website says I can get there in the next 2 hours, that's where I'm going, right? That's So being able to add those things has been a tremendous advantage into our search, into our organic, because it's dynamic content on the site, into the entire messaging that we do. So we're able to pop that using the data that's pulling in from your CRM, Service Titan, or wherever, pulls directly in. We use that for our call board, our brain, and then that sets preset protocols and fires out all kinds of things onto your digital marketing.
Yeah, that's super valuable. And the thing that people need to understand, and a lot of business owners understand this, when someone needs, we'll use the example of a drain because you mentioned that, when someone needs a big drain job, they're going on Google and they're just typing drain company near me or best drain company. And a lot of times they're clicking an ad, pay per click, and they want to see an offer on that page. Okay, someone's going to be out here in 2 hours, or okay, the dispatch fee is only $49 versus what may be $89 for other companies. So the dynamically changing offers are very valuable. And I've seen it. I've seen the data. I've heard from our clients, our shared clients, and they really love it. So kudos to you guys for building that. I know it's a big differentiator compared to other agencies. So love to see that. Talk to me about some other lead channels. And I know everyone talks about PPC. They talk about SEO. I was talking to Chad when we were in Indianapolis about, he was running a Facebook campaign, something with furnaces. And he mentioned it worked pretty well in the past, but things have changed within Facebook. Are there any other lead channels that you tap into outside of PPC, LSA, companies, GMBs? Would love to hear that from your perspective.
I think a lot of it depends on size and resources. So I always tell everyone, no matter how big or how small, if you're not starting with the fundamentals, right? Vince Lombardi, focus on the fundamentals. If you're not making sure your Google business profile is optimized and you're giving it reviews and you're feeding it every day, like, don't even worry about anything else. That's a great place to start. Local service ads is huge, but it is a pretty saturated market. So you want to be, careful about that. I am a huge advocate of Microsoft Bing. It got a nice little bump from the whole ChatGPT integrations that came out. So I'm a huge fan of Microsoft Bing, and it's not as competitive. Not as many people are in the space. We track every dollar we spend down a keyword campaign, and Microsoft Bing is a phenomenal investment with a great return. Tends to be older people, homeowners, a little bit more affluent, so they're more invested in their home and willing to spend. So it's a nice channel. Now, it's still less than 8% market share in home services, so we're not moving all of our eggs. But if you're a smaller company and you only need a couple of conversions, why even try and compete on the big guy, right? Google My Business set up, you've got your LSA set up, and maybe Bing before you even go to Google. And then within Google, people talk about Google being one, but it's really not. You've got YouTube, which is the second largest search engine and one of the fastest growing search engines out there. Great opportunity, and you don't need to have a whole video production to do it. So there's all those different kinds of channels as well. We are starting to see a big pickup with Reddit. That's been very, very interesting recently.
Okay, interesting.
We're seeing it pretty heavily as a frequency play, kind of a lot like what Facebook was. Like frequency and reach are two different metrics you have to look at. So we're having some success there, and Amazon's really making a full court press. Truth be told, we have Amazon's still kind of more of a brand play than it is necessarily conversions. But again, that's only if you're expanding your market beyond some of those basics that you should even look at that.
Yeah. What's happening on Amazon? Is it actual Amazon.com or is
Amazon's
it Amazon
got
search
a lot
partners?
of search network. So endemic, non-endemic. So endemic being on
Okay.
Amazon.com, non-endemic being their entire network. They've been experimenting a lot with stuff right in Amazon. Amazon's real value, I don't know if you're an Amazon shopper or not. Everyone is. I shop so much
Everyone
from
is,
Amazon.
right?
My joke is that if I worked for Amazon, I'd work from home because I just get my packages all day long. But it was Amazon. Think about what they know about you because you do buy, right? So it knows I drink Monsters and it knows how many. So it probably makes some assumptions about that. I buy my filters. Oh, please don't judge me, people, but I buy my filters on Amazon.com, so it knows what kind of furnace and equipment I have at my house, just because of the furnace type or the filter type. It knows I have kids. It knows I bought car mats on it, so it knows what kind of car I have. I bought my dog food on it. So it starts to make a really great profile of a customer. And that's where Amazon's value is it knows you better than your neighbors know you.
It's all about who has the data. If they know the products that you're buying, they know how to target you. So spot on with all of that. And I always say, I know you touched on a few things there. You talked about Google, LSA, Bing. I always tell home service owners, hey, there's not like a magic trick that is going to grow your business 10x next year. It's all about doing all of the little things right. So if someone is not invested in Bing right now, use Bing as a lead channel. It may not add $1 million of revenue for you next year, but it might add 5 jobs a month. And if your average ticket's $2,000, that's $10,000 a month. So it's all about, and it may be a lot more than that. I'm just using random numbers, but it's all about doing these little things right in order to continue to scale and scale and scale. So all great points. You mentioned Reddit. I think that is very interesting because there's all of these different subreddits. There's a Phoenix subreddit. There's a Denver subreddit. And if someone is searching best Denver plumber, Reddit, I believe they have a partnership with Google, and they've started to rank similar to how Yahoo Answers would rank in the past. So being able to show on Reddit and have people talk about you on Reddit, even if it's you, I mean,
Reddit's so neat because you're right. They did a deal with Google. And so it's called the search engine results page. When I type in plumber near me, that search engine results page comes up. And at the very top, I've got my local service ads. I've got my paid ads. Sometimes I've got the map pack there. And then sometimes I'll have a whole section that's Reddit links that are embedded in that search engine results page, taking up a huge chunk of the page before I even get to the SEO many times, like traditional SEO. And then when you click on that, you're in subreddits, right? You're in those subcategories inside Reddit. So Reddit's like a foldering system for anyone who's not familiar with Reddit. And those are subreddits underneath there. And once you get into it, by the way, just take your entire Saturday afternoon, clear your schedule, because it's a wild world. Reddit is.
You'll get addicted to Reddit very quickly.
It's wild for sure. Yeah. But what's nice about bidding on this is it's kind of turned the tables on how you do it. So you're bidding on keywords inside the conversation within Reddit. You're not necessarily bidding out the same way you'd bid for a Google or Bing or any of the search engines that are out there, really. So you're really bidding on the conversations, keywords in the conversations, which I think has a lot of potential to be a lot more relevant because you're bidding more on what customers or potential customers are talking about. So there's been a lot of, but it does take a lot of frequency. It's a sponsored ad that pops at the top. I think most Redditors I've talked to did not even realize they're sponsored, even though they're called out.
Yeah, it says sponsored, but feels natural.
It feels natural, and I think it's relatively new to Reddit, so I think a lot of like the hardcore Redditors weren't used to seeing it there before, so it just kind of popped in. But it's a slow burn, takes a little bit of time and a little bit of investment, but so far we've been pretty bullish on some of the numbers we're seeing come out of it.
Interesting. How many clients are you running Reddit ads for?
Oh gosh.
Is it a significant scale or are you guys kind of
not significant. It's still really in testing mode, but we're testing with some decent volume of spend. But I'd say probably less than 20.
Okay. Still, I'm sure with those 20, there's enough volume to kind of get an idea of the ROI that it's going to generate.
And it's still very early on. Like its sophistication isn't quite there yet with like how, a lot of companies that are heavy into brand, it doesn't have a lot of, like all the different assets you can load like you can in Google. But what we find is Reddit's a little different, but most people don't go to Microsoft and then go to Google and search, or they don't go to Reddit and then go to Facebook and search. Like they tend to kind of have their wheelhouses they sit in. And so we find it to be incremental customer search as opposed to kind of overlapping.
Got it. That makes sense. You and I were both marketers. You really need to understand the type of user that is on Reddit and also the other content that they're seeing on Reddit as they're scrolling. So having really good copy that is specific to what Redditors are used to reading is very important. Yeah. So really interesting. Keep me updated on how the Reddit ads go. And I think that would be really interesting content to share for people.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, awesome. The other thing I want to talk about was AI search. because I have talked to clients and they have started to tell me people are searching, hey, who's the best plumber in Phoenix? We're based out of Phoenix. I use that example. They're typing that into ChatGPT, and it's starting to give, 5 companies
Recommendations.
that they could choose from. So what are your thoughts on AI search? I know Google is rolling stuff out. You are more of an expert than I am on this, but I am very interested on where that's going.
I don't think you can talk about AI search until you talk about like what the goal of AI search is, right? So I use this analogy a lot. I got to clean it up so it's tighter. But what's your favorite kind of restaurant? We're down there. We're celebrating a big victory for the two companies. Where are we going? Steak, Italian,
Steakhouse for sure.
bougie steakhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a dirty, greasy cheeseburger girl, right?
I'm big on cheeseburgers.
Well,
We can switch it if
Yeah,
we need
no,
to.
no. I love the steakhouse analogy versus the cheeseburger because my greasy cheeseburger, if you come to Minnesota, it's Lion's Tap. You squeeze the burger and the grease strips down your arm. But my Lion's Tap place probably doesn't want your bougie steakhouse in it, right? And your bougie steakhouse certainly doesn't want my Lion's Tap budget coming into the steakhouse. That's where search is going. So right now, if I type in best plumber near me or best restaurant near me, everyone's bidding for best near me. What Google, Gemini, and ChatGPT and Perplexity and all of the Claude, what all of these companies are starting to go do is they want to understand you and your profile, and they want to deliver you to what's the best fit for you. So best plumber for you might be somebody who's got the best price. Best plumber for me might be somebody who can be here when I say I want them here. Best plumber for somebody else might be someone who lets me install something I bought from the Home Depot. So eventually AI wants to try and understand those personas and deliver you the right place. They want to deliver you steakhouse recommendations, even when you type in best restaurant near me. And they want to deliver me burger recommendations when I type in best restaurant near me.
Got it. That makes sense.
So that's really where search is going, I think.
Makes sense. This is going to be like very, very futuristic. Do you think there's a world, and I've talked to Ahmad about this pretty recently, do you think there's a world where ChatGPT and Google and whoever knows you as a customer, they know you want the best price, or they just know you want someone who's a 4.9 star or higher, and they just connect you to the company, and the company just pays for that lead? Do you think there's a world where, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's
where
pretty close, actually. I was just talking about this with someone else. So have you ever done Reserve with Google?
I have not.
Okay, so this is how everyone's going to be booking all their restaurants moving forward. I'm a fat kid, by the way. That's why all my analogies are about food. But if you look at, I just did this last weekend, Saturday. I wanted to take some of my family out. So my family was in town, and there's a great little restaurant here in the Twin Cities. It's a hoot. World-class dining in a double wide trailer. It's amazing. It's called Suzette's down on 169. And
Interesting.
It's hilarious. It's the guys. Anyway, I didn't want to call him and book an appointment. Plus, I knew he didn't open until 4. I'm an old person, so I wanted my reservation at 5:30. So I went to Reserve with Google. I said, listen, Google, I've got 8 people. I want a reservation at Suzette's in Jordan, Minnesota. I want that reservation at 5:30, but if I can't get 5:30, I'm willing to take it all the way to 6:30. Let me know. At 4:02, I got a note back from Google saying my reservation was booked for 8 people at 5:30. Because Google has AI, like you guys, probably not as good as yours, but it's Google.
Thank you for the kudos.
Yeah, that's right. That will call and book the reservation for you. So they called Suzette's. It was just like you guys have for your AI stuff, and it said, "Hey, let's book it." That is happening. That is happening now, and people. And I think where this gets really interesting for our conversation is that's all I use now. I don't call restaurants anymore. I just use Reserve with Google. To answer your question directly, that is coming in the local service ads. But the beauty of that for us, for you and I particularly, is that's going to be the experience people expect. So when they call and hear, I mean, we have a lot of clients in common that are using your guys' AI for phone answering. I hear those calls all the time. People are expecting it. They actually, if you're like me, you prefer it. Because I would just be like, yeah, I need a reservation. I need a plumber at my house on Thursday. Right. I mean, you just get it booked and you get it done. So people are beginning to expect that experience and then lean into that experience.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it could almost be an Uber type of world in the home service space where it's like, okay, oh my gosh, my water heater went out. I just need someone in the next 2 hours. I want someone who's 4.8 star or higher, and I want the price to be in this range. And then it's like a driver picks a ride. It's like a plumbing company or an HVAC company could pick the job.
Well, and I'm laughing because with you guys, you might have AI talking to AI.
Oh,
right?
that is coming.
Right. So Google Reserve with Google is calling for the plumber. They got a ZyraTalk company. It's AI talking to AI, gets it booked, and all we have to do is, pay the bill when the plumber shows up.
Yeah. I need to send you this video, but there's a video where it's two AIs talking, and it's like, oh, hey, I'm an AI assistant as well. Do you want to communicate in blah, blah, blah? And then they're like communicating in gibberish, but it has the words on the screen of what the gibberish is saying. I'll send you this video because it's really crazy, actually.
I love it.
So the way things are moving, I always say, I don't know if people realize how quickly things are moving. Not just in the home service space, but in all of these different industries. It's getting exciting. It's getting scary in some ways for people. But we'll see what happens. Only time will tell what happens with AI in these industries. I know we talked about call answering. That's what we focus on. And for viewers who don't know, we essentially are an AI answering service. And if companies don't answer the phone within 20, 30 seconds, it overflows to our AI, has a conversation. The other use cases are for after hours, weekends. We are able to prove and match back revenue to the jobs, improve the ROI that we're getting. I'm just curious on your thoughts with AI answering. I know you guys were partnered together, but what have you seen from your clients? What have you heard? You mentioned customers expect this now in a way. So yeah, curious on your thoughts.
I love it because I think one of the biggest challenges we have since we provide the leads, right? So Camp's job is to bring you leads. And then there's the whole human component. I had a client who's averaging over 3 minutes to connect to a call. And they kept,
Oh my God.
I know. And they kept calling me, we need more leads. And I finally said, you don't need more leads. You need to solve this problem because I see how many calls are dropping in the 1 minute. I think you guys gave me the stat that it was like 45 seconds people hang up.
I believe it's the 42-second
42
mark.
seconds.
So what happens, it's crazy. So it's a slow increase of when people are dropping off. Once it hits the 42 or 45-second mark, it's like a hockey stick. It starts to just go up very, very quickly.
So imagine, and you don't have to imagine because you guys live this, but I was talking to my client about this. They're 3 minutes on average to answer the phone calls. How many customers you just lost that you already paid for? Send them to an AI. Let the AI get it booked. I love it when AI has the ability to get out of AI. If you're a customer that wants to talk to a human, right? Some of us are just.
Oh yeah.
But if you can take a third of your calls and just have AI handle that booking. I just need a routine tune-up. I need a repair done at my house. The efficiencies of getting that and the percentage of booked goes up. Because now your humans, if you're still working with humans answering the calls, they can handle the more sophisticated. Like, I think my furnace isn't working and it's 28 degrees in Minnesota, right? I think my AC isn't working and it's 116 degrees in Phoenix. Those are ones that maybe your humans, I don't know, it's however people chuck it up. But if you can just improve those efficiencies by a third, that's real money without having to do anything else. And a lot of times there's cost savings associated with those savings and that efficiency.
Oh,
slam dunk.
Big time. Yeah. I'll ask you this. What do you think the percentage is that businesses are missing phone calls?
Oh, gosh. Oh, I don't even want to know. 25%?
That's a good guess. So the range is between 15 to 35%.
Wow.
And that's from multiple of our marketing agency partners. And it's a huge range, and businesses are just leaking money. We talk about the leaky bucket. They're spending all this money to generate leads, and they're just falling out of the bucket because they're not answering the phone.
Brad, you just hurt my soul. I hurt my soul.
Well, unfortunately, it is the reality, and our goal is to solve that and get it as close to 0% as possible while delivering. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a full human-like experience. It's just, hey, the phone is answered. Some clients, they don't even want the AI to fully book. We can do that, but they just want to set the expectation of booking. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. It just comes down to what are your processes? How do we fit into the system? your system and processes, and how do we prevent phone calls from being missed? We don't want missed.
What I talk to a lot of people about when I talk about you guys particularly is you don't need to be one of these big PEs to have the technology of the big PEs. You can bring a ZyraTalk in and instantly you just got on par with what some of these big companies are doing. And then to what you said, then you work a little bit on the strategy. How are those calls answered? Who's answering them? What are they answering being used for? And now you can kind of leapfrog some of the big guys in your space.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think, and it's what people are expecting. It's the behaviors we're all quickly coming to expect.
Very true. And we've seen a shift because we've been doing AI chat for, oh my gosh, 8 years now. We've been doing the AI answering for a little over 2 years now. And the shift in how customers interact with it is completely different. We even have some clients who use it as their front line. There's a client of ours, they do $15 million a year, and AI answers first. And it says, hey, I'm an AI assistant. I can help with booking. I can help with this, blah, blah, blah. If you want to talk to a human, just say transfer my call. Only about maybe 10 to 20% will say transfer my call. The rest of the people will have a full conversation and either get booked or get their question answered.
And not to give you a shameless plug, but I will, because people who know me, I'm kind of a straight shooter human being. But that's what I think a lot of people don't realize about you guys. You're not a Johnny-come-lately AI talk company. You've had the chat, which has all that data in it and has already been learning, because AI chat, AI talk, any of these things are only as good as the data sets you have behind them.
100%.
And you guys have a decade's worth of learnings behind it in the home services space and beyond, which I think is giving you guys a tremendous advantage in the space.
Big time. That and having the infrastructure built. I won't sell ourselves on this podcast.
I'll tell you. I think it's great. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Maybe I'll just let you keep doing
That's
the
right.
talking.
Exactly.
Having the infrastructure built, and we're enterprise grade technology. We've got full security compliance. We work with healthcare clients, and there's some HIPAA compliance stuff that we've had to do. It's no joke. So we definitely are enterprise grade. We have a lot of redundancies built. Like, we don't have outages with our system. We have redundancies on LLMs, voice to text transcripts. There's a lot that goes into this technology. So yeah, and then like you said, it's as good as the data that is fed to it. So we talk about LLMs, a large language model. When we train for a plumbing HVAC client, I would almost call that an SLM, a small language model where it's trained on the company's data to know specifically about them. What's their dispatch fee? What are their discounts? Things like that. Not every call is someone booking. There's endless amounts of things that can happen.
I was listening to a call yesterday, and it was one of your technicians just drove through the light, almost hit my car. It was just a rager. She was just raging on the phone, and I'm sure it was for good reason, right? But
For sure.
My favorite one is, I cannot believe, hopefully everyone's listening to this, how many ladders get left behind on jobs. I swear to you, I have listened in my lifetime to at least several hundred phone calls where someone's calling and saying, your technician left a ladder or a tool, and I just want to know how you guys are going to come get it and get it back. So it's,
oh my gosh,
the ladder ones crack me up because they're big. Like, how do you leave a ladder behind? I get how you leave a hammer or a screwdriver, but a ladder, I don't quite understand. But
yeah, and you would think walking out to the truck,
I know,
it's where's my ladder?
Yeah, exactly.
Get to the next job, be like, oh shoot, I need to get on the roof. I'll ask you, and then I can elaborate on some things that I think will happen with AI. What else do you think is coming in the space, or what's already here and continuing to improve that companies are seeing a lot of success with?
Well, I think this number kind of blew my mind, and I did not believe it instinctually, but I did have to learn it and then validated it. And that's that only 30% of the calls actually convert on the initial conversion, on the initial interaction.
Interesting.
This came from Google. I didn't believe it. I talked to some of our partners, and they went out and validated it with large amounts of data within a close range. But overall, through the course of the year, so not through seasonality, but the course of the year, only 30% of the calls actually convert in the initial contact. And that includes things like, let me call my husband and call you back. Let me call a few other shop arounds. But the initial contact, only about 30%. Another 29% convert within the next 7 days.
Interesting.
So where we've seen a lot of improvement is any of those rehash follow-up programs, whether it's an email, ringless voicemail, automated outbound calling tools, any of those things. Another 30% day one, 29%, which again, I'm a hockey math kind of girl in Minnesota, so almost the exact same amount in days 1 through 7. You've already paid the money to get the investment, to get that lead. Followed up with an email, we have a guy, one of our sales guys, and I shouldn't say this but he says PO or RO, right? Purchase order or restraining order. I love that line. Like, follow up with those customers until they either tell you to stop and they had somebody else service it, or you're putting a tech in a van and sending them to their house.
Yeah.
That's where I think AI makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know there's really good companies out there. Shout out to Chirp. I know they do a great job with stuff
Chirp
like that.
Chirp is great. Yep. We love, and that's where we see a ton of improvements when people put like a Chirp product in. Yep.
Yeah. And those guys are awesome.
Yep.
We, so we're a Lennox preferred partner. Chirp is as well. When I was in Kansas City, when was it, like 2-3 weeks ago, our booths were next to each other. So I spent a lot of time with Justin. Ryan, who's the CEO, his brother was there. I talked to Ryan as well after the event. So great group of guys, and they're making a big impact for companies, following up on estimates.
And I don't mean to sound hokey here, but I will take a second. People are so important to the trades. People are so important to the business. Having great guys like Justin and those guys, I like doing business with them, and that makes life so much nicer too. So besides that they have a great product and a great service, they're good humans.
Yes, and that's huge. Our team always says, even clients, it's always like, we'll send a message, hey, this client needs, they need a little bit of help. By the way, they're like the nicest person. Yeah. They're so easy to talk to. It's just such a breath of fresh air to go into that call. It's like, okay, they're going to be nice. They're going to be understanding. I'll be the first to say, we're not perfect. We're great, but we're not perfect. And there's things that always improve as a company.
Yep.
So, and I know there's some companies doing stuff with HVAC systems, with the thermostats. Ishmael from Nuve, I know he's got that company. And I think what's going to happen is these systems are basically going to become computers, similar to how our cars are. And companies will know there's a problem with the system before the customer even knows. And if there's a dashboard for that and they can reach out to a customer, hey, we got an error code on your system and we have that in our dashboard. Can we come check it out? I think things like that are coming in the future. And when you talk about like marketing and getting back to your past customers, not just all new customer acquisition, what can you do with your past customers? I think things like that are going to be important in the industry. Yeah, curious on your thoughts there.
Yeah, I totally agree. And everyone thinks about growth, and we're all very growth hungry in this space. And I think a lot of that has to do with the market we just came out of. But the only way you grow is by retaining your existing business, right? Like you have to retain your existing business and then add new and retain and add new, right? It's that kind of plateau and mountain climbing. And I think we don't spend enough time in this space with retention. And all of those AI retention tools, whether it's the thermostat that's sitting on the wall, whether it's data mining in your existing data set, whether it's truly treating your members as members and not as piggy banks.
Yes.
All of those kind of things I think are going to be super important with the market that we're going into in order to really sustain, let alone grow.
Yeah. I'll ask you this. Do you have any data on... Let's say I have data on a company, they do $25 million a year. What percentage of their business do you think is from new customer acquisition? And then what percentage do you think is from customers who have used them in the past?
So I'm dying to hear your real stat, because we work with a couple of the best practice groups, and this number has changed wildly over the last 2 years. I mean, like almost 360. So a lot of the best practice groups now are coaching to much smaller percentage of new acquisition and a much larger percentage of retention. I don't know what your numbers are, though, what they say.
I've seen a company doing 25 million a year. 65% of their customers are people who have used them in the
Yep.
past.
That's about close to what they're
So
coaching to. Yeah.
yeah, and they do a lot to retain their customers. They send postcards. It's not even postcards to generate leads. It's just brand awareness. They send an educational email every 2 weeks to a customer. I think customers who spent like over $1,000. There's a couple things that they do to stay top of mind with their customers rather than just spend on PPC, LSA. It's like, okay, we're investing in brand. They may not become a customer tomorrow, but when they do need something, they're going to remember XYZ plumbing and HVAC.
There's some basic things too. So I fly a lot. I imagine you guys do too.
Yes.
I'm a Delta, whatever it is. I just platinum or whatever. I don't call the same phone number that somebody booking a Delta airline calls. Right. And when I call, they say, hello, Katie, right? Or Catherine's my legal name. Hello, Catherine.
Yeah.
I don't know why we don't do that with our members. Create a member phone number that's just for members. By the way, if nothing else, it makes it feel like it's really special. You put right VIP stuff on it, and then they stop Googling you and charging you money when they Google your name. I mean, so there's all kinds of other reasons to do it. But I just feel like we don't spend enough time really treating our members like the P&L enhancement they really are. We treat them a little bit more like when I'm slow, I'm going to call them.
I'm so glad you actually mentioned this. And it's interesting how Delta does that for you. So what we are building, it's actually in testing right now, is when someone calls a company, we're able to pull out of their FSM if they're a past customer, if they're a VIP member. So the phone number that they're calling from, rather than saying, thanks for calling XYZ Plumbing, it'll say something like, hey, Katie, thanks for calling XYZ Plumbing. Just wanted to confirm, is this Katie on the line? And it's a much more VIP type feel versus, okay, I'm just calling XYZ Plumbing.
And call out that they're a member.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking to do
Is
as well.
this Katie, our platinum member? I mean, bougie, right? Like, and who doesn't want to feel important, right? So, I mean, no, I totally, and it puts value to that. And it gives them a reason to remember that number. Again, so they do not go back and Google plumber in Chaska. I can't remember the name, right? I mean, so they go, or even worse yet, XYZ plumber, right? Because it costs you money. I mean, it just does. So I think the moral to the story is, I think it was Sundar, the CEO of Google, came out at a Forbes conference in November and said he expects search and AI and everything to so fundamentally transform in the next few years that we don't even know, like more change is coming than we've had, which if you think about, you're too young, but I didn't have a phone in my pocket growing up, right? I
didn't either.
I had 4 TV stations. I mean, so like it's the change is wild and what's coming is wild. So it's just a matter of leaning in and finding people who you trust and who you think are good to partner with, who can help guide you and give you good advice. And I always think, my own 2 cents, and this is a shameless plug for, I think, you and anyone that works with us, take a small percentage of your budget, whether you're a large company or a small company, take a percentage and earmark it for trying these things. Try new things out.
Yeah. And I think with the AI wave, businesses and companies, they are testing new products, and it's all about staying educated because things are moving
so
very
fast,
quickly, very, very quickly. Even our product, every 2 weeks, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a massive improvement compared to where we were 2 weeks ago. And yeah, things are moving quickly, and it's the business owner's job to stay on top of what's happening, not just from a technology standpoint, but from a marketing standpoint as well. We talked about Reddit. We talked about AI search. There are so many things that are coming, and it's just, okay, set a small part of the budget and just test things out. As I always say, I think it was 7-8 years ago when LSA first came out, there were a couple companies that they had on the beta test. And I know a lot of those companies were Camp Digital clients because you guys work closely with Google. And I always said, this is the gold mine of the internet right now.
Yep.
You guys were getting leads for like $15, $20 a lead, and they're converting into like $1,000 plus average ticket. So look for things like that out there. I always say it's all about doing the little things right. We're probably not going to find the next gold mine. Maybe we do. It's not going to last forever. but definitely look for it and test things out.
Yeah, I love it. I appreciate your guys' partnership throughout the time and how willing you guys have been to work together. I think that makes great partners as well.
Awesome. Appreciate it from you guys as well. Like I always say, there's a handful of agencies that I know do a good job. You guys are definitely on that list. And when it comes to PPC, I don't think there's anyone that does it better.
No, I appreciate that very much. So thank you, Brad. Thank you very much.
Thanks to everyone who's watching or listening. If you have any questions for Katie, go to Camp Digital. Is it just campdigital.com?
Campdigital.com. Yes, sir.
Awesome. And if you have any questions for us, my email is brad@ZyraTalk.com, or you just go to ZyraTalk.com, request a demo of our platform, and see what we do.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to connect with me personally, you can find me at chadmpeterman.com. To see what our team's up to, you can visit petermanbros.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel and consider joining the CSTG Arena. As always, keep growing out there.